Hi everyone, hope you're all okay. It's still me, I've just got slightly different coloured hair, and now I am beginning to wonder whether wearing a yellow dress with this colour hair was such a wise idea, but there we go. This is going to be my February roundup and my March to be read list. I know it's kind of late, but better late than never, I reckon. The first book I finished in February was Forbidden, the Soul Keeper's #1 by Laurie Adams. This was a book I had off NetGalley in exchange for an honest review, and I absolutely loved it. I downloaded it because I wanted to find out what the whole new adult thing was about. I'd not read anything in that genre and I wanted to give it a go. That was the cat, by the way. I could definitely draw some parallels between the Cullen family in Twilight and the family of the main character Michael in the book because of how mysterious they were and how nobody really seems to bother that they don't turn up to school for days on end sometimes. But I think that's always going to happen when you've got a book where somebody or something supernatural is interacting with humans. Overall, I really enjoyed this book and I'm looking forward to what happens in the second one, and I gave it 4 out of 5. The next book I read in February was Champion by Marie Lu. I've been looking forward to my library getting this book in for ages, and when I saw they had it, I picked it up right away, and I felt a little bit giddy because I was probably the first person to read it. Going into the last book in a trilogy, everybody always has quite high expectations, and I find that more often than not, the last book doesn't really live up to everyone's expectations, but this definitely did. It also changed my feelings towards Andon, who I didn't really like in the first 2 books because I thought he was a bit of a creepy daddy's boy. But in this book, I really warmed him, and I think I could actually be Team Andon perhaps, but let's keep that one between you and me because I think there's a lot of other people who are definitely Team Day, but I think Andon has the edge for me. I really like the way that Champion wrapped everything up. I think it did a sterling job of that. I like that Marie Lu kind of left it open for us, but I'm not going to say any more in case you haven't read it yet and I don't want to ruin it for you. I loved Champion and I definitely gave it a 5 out of 5. In fact, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 5 if I could. There we go, 6 out of 5. The next book I read is Eleanor and Park by Rowell. I think I've only technically read one contemporary book, and that's Looking for Alaska by John Green. So I didn't really know what to expect when I picked this up, but I had heard fantastic things about it, and when I brought it in Waterstones, the woman behind the counter said she loved it and she'd read it a few times, so that made me feel quite confident about it. As you might have guessed, it's about 2 characters called Eleanor and Park, and it's set in the 80s, I think, and it's kind of about how they take their friendship from not talking to each other or on the bus to being in love with each other, and it was just written so well. And on the back of the book and on the front it says it reminds you what it's like to fall in love, and it definitely does. You definitely feel the awkwardness and you kind of feel the thrill and the giddiness when you're reading what the characters are going through. So if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend this. I think this would be a great introduction into contemporary. It certainly was for me. And I know that now I'll definitely pick up some more books by Rowell because this was just so well written, and the ending, oh, the feels. It took me a while to get over the ending, put it that way. I could understand why it happened, but it hurt. Thanks for that, Rowell. I really enjoyed this book, and I've just checked on my Goodreads to see what I gave it. Apparently I gave it a 4 out of 5, and thinking about it now, I can't imagine why I didn't give it a 5 out of a 5, because it really stuck with me for days. I mean, I finished this about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and it still hurts a little. It still feels a bit raw, so I'm going to change what I said on Goodreads and give it a 5 out of 5. I definitely recommend this book, and you could probably start a drinking game now of the amount of times I said definitely in this video already. I know it's going to really annoy me when I'm trying to edit this later. Sorry, definitely. That was just my fork falling on the floor. Lunch. I then kind of fell into a reading slump. The best way I've found so far to get out of a reading slump is to pick up something I read and I absolutely adore. So I reread Veronica Roth's Divergent, partly in anticipation for the film because I can't wait for it to come out. I loved it. I think I loved it even more than I read it the first time, and while I was reading it I was thinking, wow, I don't remember this happening in the book. I just found it so much more enthralling and exciting, and it's very rare that happens to me when I reread a book because I often really struggle. I tried to reread The Hunger Games towards the end of last year and I couldn't finish it. It just didn't drag me in the way that it did the first time I read it, but this drew me in like I'd never seen the book before. If for some reason you haven't read Divergent and you love young adult books, I definitely recommend you pick this up. I can't recommend it enough, and you're probably going to want to see the film, so I'd get a rush on and read it quickly if I were you. Ignore your homework, it's not that important. This is better. that is it for what I read in February. I really did struggle and I got into a bit of a slump. Though I think it's 4 books, that's not too bad really. So next we'll move on to my February to be read list. The first book is a book I've already started reading and it's taken me about a week to read 2 chapters. And that is Anthony Horowitz's Raven's Gate. This is from the Power of 5 series. I haven't read anything else by him before, I don't think. But this is a book I brought for my fiance because he loves Anthony Horowitz. He's currently reading, I don't know what the series is called, but there's about 9 books in it. And he picked this up when there was a 3 for 2 in W.H. Smith's. But as I was in a reading slump, he recommended I tried a new author and gave this a go. I'm only 2 chapters in, but I'm really enjoying it, and he's kind of setting the whole scene up, and something exciting has just happened. So I think this might be the book that pulls me out of my reading slump. And the next book I want to read is something I was supposed to read in February but didn't get around to it, and that's Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. As I said in I think it was my January roundup and my February to be read video, this book has been on my to be read list for forever, and I bought it last November, December when it was in Asda for about £2.50, and I've kind of forgotten what it's about, but I'm looking forward to reading it. The cover's pretty cool also. Next on my list is another reread, and that's Day-Night by Thomason. This is a book I read, I think it was this time last year, and I fell in love with it. I read Arbitrate when it came out last September, October time, and the new one, Generate, I think is coming out June, July this year, and I can't wait to read it. So as I'm still feeling a bit reading slumpy, I'm going to read this because I know I loved it, and the cover's just so pretty. I hope this is like Divergent and it kind of pulls me in the way it did the first time, so I'm hoping I'm going to love it just as much as I did the first time, and then I'll read Arbitrate in anticipation for Generate. Wow, that was a short video. That's probably the shortest video I've done so far, which is amazing considering I think I've done a fair bit of rambling. But I've got like 20 minutes of my lunch break left, and I've got some delicious pasta and I want to eat it, so I'm not going to continue rambling for much longer. Let me know in the comments what you're reading this month, and if you've read anything. Fork again. Gonna have to wash that now. 10-second rule doesn't really count, by the way. Doesn't exist. Not real. Doesn't stop germs. Anyway, I am rambling now. Let me know what you're reading, if you've read anything, and if you've got any suggestions for great books you think I might like, please let me know in the comments. And if you like book related stuff, please hit the subscribe button wherever it may be. You can also head on over to my blog at www.eatreadglam.com for my ramblings and book reviews. I've been a bit slow this month. I've been kind of absent from blogging this month, but I'm getting back into it now, so you'll unfortunately be hearing my opinion a little bit more. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. See you soon. Bye! He's just jumping around like a nutter. Next on my list is another reread, and that's Day-Night. Why do I keep holding books in the corner where you can't see the name of the author?